So you know how I'm always telling you guys you don't want to restrict your calories too much because that can actually backfire and cause you to rebel and binge and have major cravings and all of these negative things that come from restricting ourselves too much. So I tell my clients this, and I don't really take my own advice. And this weekend, I was living proof of what happens when you over-restrict, and it can all just snowball. I went on vacation this weekend to spend the weekend with my family at my sister's place up by Lake Erie. And we do this every summer, and it's awesome, and I had a great time. I've been on my competition diet plan for 5 weeks now, and I've been really good for the most part. I mean, if you saw my post last week, you know it was starting to get to me a little bit earlier this week. The diet was starting to get hard. I had a few moments of little licks and nibbles here and there, nothing major. I've done a couple of carb refeeds, and I did do a calorie increase last Sunday, but nothing excessive or cheat-wise, sticking with my good, clean, healthy foods. Just kind of changed my macros around a little bit. So anyways, I did pack all my food and took all my meals with me up there because I knew I was going to stay on plan. I was planning on doing one cheat meal on Friday. We went out to dinner at the club where they live, which I planned for that. And I was okay with that. I'm like, okay, I can have a little bit of a cheat meal, still keeping within a reason. I had a salad with oil and vinegar and a 4-ounce filet, about 3/4 of a baked potato, not the whole thing. Didn't put anything on it. And I also there was a little like zucchini thing with it that was small and really good, and I don't even know what all was in it. So I didn't really know all the calories. I mean, it wasn't terrible. My macros weren't blown out. I didn't do dessert, anything like that. It was a nice restaurant, so it wasn't a ton of food, but it was good. It was a nice change, something a little bit different. So I thought that was going to kind of do it. Our plan was to grill out on Saturday, so I was going to stick with my normal meal, the vegetables, and some bison for my protein. And I was doing really well. I got my workouts in on Saturday. We went up to the pool for the day and had my normal meals. I was doing really great until about mid-afternoon, early evening. And I'd had my third meal. We're not going to have dinner till later. And everyone went out for a boat ride, and I stayed back to babysit my 6-year-old twin niece and nephew, and found myself alone in a house with small children and different types of foods that I don't keep in my house and I haven't been around in a really long time, and some really bitchin' cravings. So I'm just gonna let it all out there, guys. I went for it. I am not proud, and Sarah, I'm sorry for eating some of your chocolate brownies and some of your trail mix and some of your chocolate peanuts that I found in the pantry, and having a couple of cheez-its with the twins. I haven't had cheez-its in 2 years at least, or anything really close to that. I don't eat like that. And I think what happened was, being around everyone in those situations, and you guys have dealt with this too, you don't want to have to think so much about, I can't have this, I can't have that. I don't want to have to think about food so much sometimes. I mean, it's kind of a constant thing. Of course, there are things that I would like to have, and then it kind of sets off this, you can't have that because you're preparing for the competition. I sometimes would like to just nibble and pick and be a normal person. Overall, my goals are more important, and I'm still committed to this competition, and I know how I want to look on stage, and I know what I have to do to get there. But I got to a point mentally where I felt like, you know what? Just do it. Just have it. And none of this was like crazy binge eating. It was little nibbles here and there. But those things do add up. Yes, did I go over my calories and macros? Yes. Oh, and it gets better. That went on, and then everybody came home. So, didn't want anybody to know that here I was Miss Perfect and I broke my diet. We made dinner, and I just loaded up. I mean, I kind of had this feeling of like, I want to be full. When you diet for a long time, you guys know how it can be. Those of you who are doing dieting with me, you're hungry a lot, and that feeling gets really exhausting. And I just missed being full. I ate double the protein portion that I should have, and I ate a ton of vegetables, just a ton. And I was full, but I wasn't like stuffed to the point that I was sick. and it felt good, but I still wasn't satisfied. And everyone was kind of nibbling on the Oreo cookies, and I was like, I actually told my husband privately what had happened while everyone was gone. And I'm like, I still want to have Oreos. I just want it. And he was great, and he's like, then let's have Oreos. And I had 4 Oreo cookies. So I'm human. Now you all know I'm human. And yes, I don't want to say I felt terribly guilty, because I made a conscious decision that I was going to do this and that I was going to eat this stuff and that I was going to enjoy it. I told myself, give yourself tonight to just for today. This has got to stop tomorrow, because you know what you have to do to get on stage the way you want to look, and if you really are committed to doing well, you've got to get this crap together. But I felt like if I didn't allow myself that yesterday, that it was just going to keep getting worse, and it was going to turn into a little bit more tomorrow, and then a little bit of something Tuesday, and then a little bit, and that's worse, I think, almost than giving myself one day of just have whatever you're tempted to have. Is it gonna make me gain weight? Maybe. I don't know. I didn't get on the scale today because I normally do my weigh-ins on Sundays and I wasn't home. I'm not gonna get on the scale tomorrow. I'm gonna get right back on my diet. I'm gonna keep doing my training, and I'm gonna see where I'm at next week. But I just think that's important that you guys know that I go through this too, and it's really normal to have those kind of cravings if you've been over restricting. If you're not preparing for a competition, you don't need to over restrict to that point. There's a reason why I'm doing it. You can be much more balanced and allow yourself a little bit here and there and just progress more slowly. So these kinds of extremes can be very, very difficult, and they can have negative effects. And the other thing is, when you're out of your environment, that can present a real challenge. A lot of you guys have told me that, whether it's family issues that have come up or even friends visiting or family visiting. I was in an environment where it was suddenly like I'm out of this very rigid box that I usually keep for myself, and normally I don't have access to those kinds of foods unless I went and bought them or went to a vending machine, which I'm not going to take those steps. I have enough self-control, and that gives me time to stop and go, no, my goals are more important. But when they're just sitting there on the counter and nobody's around, and you just haven't had chocolate in 3 months, I just was like, I'm gonna have it, and I don't care. And I like to say I feel better. I mean, I do to some extent. I think I feel a little bit more like, okay, girl, now you have to buckle down. I feel just as committed to my goals as I did before. And I just know that I need to keep things in check a little bit, that I need to make sure that I understand that I need to be on point, and in 4 weeks, I can give myself another little, window, I guess, of a cheat, if you will. And we'll see, hopefully things improve and I start to, sometimes you have these little dips and valleys, and then I'll be on next week and I'll feel great. Maybe not. And, that's something that I have to decide, as anybody does with any goal. Is it more important to me that I reach this goal, or is it more important to me that I'm able to have these little snacks or treats, or that I'm able to eat more food every day than I'm eating? And if it becomes more important to me to have the food, then I'm going to have to make a decision. I don't think that's going to happen, but everyone who goes through this kind of a journey has to weigh that choice. So I'm 8 weeks out as of yesterday from my show. I'm feeling really good. Other than that, training is going really well, and getting my posing in, practicing that, because that's going to be huge. And I'm just picturing as much as I can the outcome and how I want to look and how I want that day to go. So now you guys know I'm real. I'm a real person. I did share some of it in my Fitness Pal if you follow me. I didn't put all the food in because I don't know. I don't know what I ate. Yeah, I went over on my calories. Yeah, I probably took in more than I burned, even though I worked out yesterday. That's something that I just have to deal with. And, stronger and better tomorrow. These little slip-ups happen. It doesn't mean that I'm giving up. It doesn't mean that I'm stopping. It doesn't mean that, all the hard work that I've put into this point doesn't count. So, there you go. My honest confession. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.